The University of Illinois seems to be embracing its tradition and its history, and I'm going to tell you why that's a brilliant idea.
You are Locked On Illini, your daily podcast on the Illinois Fighting Illini. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome one, welcome all to another edition of Locked On Illini. Thank you all so much for making us your first listen each and every day. Today's episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at Monarch Money for 50% off your first year. My name is Sonny Verma, your host here at Locked On Illini, where I continue to provide you coverage daily. That's right, every single day of the orange and blue. I ask for nothing in return. All the information you hear on this show is absolutely free, but if you do feel like you want to help me out, please hit that like button. Let the YouTube algorithm take care of the rest. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. We're so close to 3,400 subs on YouTube. We're continuing to grow more and more each and every day, which I absolutely appreciate. It's the community. The community of Locked On is second to none, and I truly believe that. Today, speaking of second to none, I want to talk about something that I think is extremely important in the long term when it comes to the University of Illinois, and quite honestly, the University of Illinois' athletics, of which I obviously pay very, very close attention to. And it's something I'm glad that is happening more and more as of late. It seems like Illinois athletics is really now embracing its past. Whether it's Terrence Shannon Jr. or Marcus Damask, who I've both covered, are visiting campus very recently to work out with Fletch, or we're talking about Dosunmu, who literally released a 40-minute video of his own vlog where he came back to campus once again working out with Fletch. You saw an impromptu moment with him and Coach Brad Underwood. Or even more recently, we can talk about the 2005 team, which visited Champaign for the season opener. The university is starting to send a clear message that there's a lot of history in Champaign. There's a lot of tradition behind the University of Illinois, and now it's time to tell you the story of it. As I mentioned, this past weekend, Illinois brought back the legendary 2005 team, the group that went 37-2. They won Big Ten titles and came essentially one half away from winning the national championship. Hey, in my opinion, the greatest college basketball team to never win a title. I might be biased. I may not be. Deron Williams, Dee Brown, James Augustine, Powell Jr. I think Luther Head was the only one who was not able to make it. But all the others, alongside some coaches, Coach Bruce Weber was also there. They were honored during the football opener. They walked through Grange Grove. They were introduced in Memorial Stadium in front of 56,000 plus fans. They got to tour the new facilities, and they got a hero's welcome for all that they accomplished for the university. And for me, the moment was bigger than just nostalgia. It was about Illinois showing that we value that history. The team defined what Illinois basketball means for an entire generation of fans. They put Champaign on the national stage in a way that we hadn't seen since the Flying Illini of the 1989. And quite honestly, I was a little too young to remember that basketball team. The 2001 and 2005 teams were probably the most important teams of my personal lifetime. For younger fans, 2005 might be their first memory. For older fans, it kind of bridged generations. But for all of us, it's a reminder that, well, when the train gets going, Illinois can compete with anybody at the highest level. And here's the thing, embracing your history isn't just about looking backwards, it's also about connecting the past, the present, and the future. When recruits come to campus and see guys like Deron Williams or Dee Brown being honored, or when they hear about Dosunmu dropping by Ubin to work out, of course that message is going to resonate. When you see Will Riley at the game, hanging out with Kylan Boswell wearing Will Riley's jersey, all of that shows the type of relationship that this coaching staff and the university will build with its players. It shows that there's a legacy here. Not only is Illinois a Big Ten program, it's a program with tradition, with players who've made it to the NBA, with banners in the rafters, and moments that still show up in the all-time classic One Shining Moments. other blue bloods like Kansas, North Carolina, Duke, I feel like growing up, they always did this very well. They always embraced, well, it's Kentucky, like the Wildcat family. Duke players always kind of defend their own. They're Duke fans. It's always been something where they cherish each other and embrace the things that they value in common. Their alumni are visible. Their past is constantly being honored. For a long time, I feel like Illinois didn't lean into that enough. We kind of let our own history collect dust. But now I'm noticing that I feel like the tide is turning a little bit. The staff, the athletic department, the fan base, everybody seems to be saying that, hey, you know what? Us Illini, we have something to be proud of here as well. And it's not just the 2005 team. Look at how, as I mentioned, the recent players have seemed to be returning. Terrence Shannon Jr., Will Riley, Dosunmu. You can see their pictures on Ubin now when other players are practicing and when the current teams are practicing or recruits are coming to visit. And maybe it's not just signage. One of those players might actually be in the building when other recruits are visiting. When these current NBA players continue to come back to Champaign, it kind of helps bridge between eras. Fans see it, recruits are going to see it, and the players in the locker room now, they're going to see it. They're going to understand what it means to wear this jersey, and hopefully they'll understand their responsibility to also come back to campus and get to know the younger generation and to teach them what being an Illini is all about. And here's where I think it kind of all comes together. If Illinois wants to continue growing its fan base, if we want to continue to sell out State Farm Center, and lately it seems like we are even coming close to selling out Memorial Stadium, if we want to stay nationally relevant, we have to show that this program is a proud program with significant history. Younger fans now who are very green to all of this, they are just now getting on board with Brad Underwood's success, which is fantastic. But you also have to show them the roots. Show them Dee Brown pumping his chest after hitting a big three. Show them Deron Williams running an NBA caliber offense in college. Show them Roger Powell Jr. and James Augustine battling inside. Show them the Dosunmu years, the Kofi Coburn years. Because ultimately, that's how you create a sense of belonging. That's how you say being an Illini fan isn't just about right now in the moment. It's about decades of moments that you can absolutely be proud of. So here's my message. Illinois, I do think, is doing the absolute right thing, leaning into its history. Hosting the 2005 team was more than just a feel-good reunion. It was a reminder of who we are as a program and where we want to go. This fan base is growing. For the first time in a very long time, it kind of seems cool to be an Illini fan. Illinois basketball is in a good place. Illinois football is in a good place. And as we build towards the future, it's crucial that we never forget the past, because that past is what gives weight to the jersey, pride to the fan base, and confidence to the players who put Illinois across their chest. So let's keep it going. Let's bring back the Flying Illini. Let's throw another celebration for Dosunmu. Let's bring in Deron and Dee one more time. Celebrate those teams that helped pave the way, because the more we embrace our history, the brighter the future looks for both Illinois basketball and Illinois football. Let me know your thoughts. Were you at the game? I'm so jealous if you were. What was your favorite moment from Friday night? I'd love to hear it in the comments. Mazda crafts cars for those who choose to do more than just simply move. They follow what moves them every time they drive. And that's what makes Mazda stand out. They go beyond safety, style, and performance to deliver a driving experience that feels alive in every detail. Mazda offers more than safety. It's won more 2025 IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus awards than anyone else. You can feel it the moment you get behind the wheel. The smooth handling, the intuitive controls, and standard all-wheel drive in every crossover SUV. Whether it's a quick drive to practice or a weekend road trip, Mazda makes everyday drive feel special. It's the small details that make the big plays. And just like there's more to every player, there's more to a Mazda vehicle. Mazda, move and be moved. And welcome back to Locked On Illini. The Illini are going to be going on their first road trip of the season in week 2. Usually you like to get some little home cooking before you really get on the road, but Bret Bielema and the coaching staff is not messing around. They're going to be playing a very good, very solid Duke team in week 2, and they're going to be playing them not quite as a top 10 team. The new rankings came out on Tuesday, and Illinois in the AP poll jumped up 1 spot. They switched spots with Arizona State, who I believe was 11 last week. Now Illinois is number 11, and Arizona State is number 12. So that 52-3 victory over Western Illinois wasn't quite enough to get them over the hump to make this a top 10 matchup. Not that it matters. I know a lot of Illini fans, I see it on social media, are kind of upset that South Carolina, I believe, has jumped Illinois. And obviously there's now a weird rivalry with the South Carolina Gamecocks after that showdown in the Citrus Bowl last year. And I think the whole Bret Bielema and Shane Beamer getting very animated towards each other, it's kind of riled up both fan bases. I'll be honest, on my end, I've kind of already forgotten about that. I've kind of moved on, but I can tell that the Illini fan base, for the most part, haven't. And they made a pretty big deal about Illinois being at 12 and South Carolina being at 13 at the beginning of the season. Now that South Carolina has jumped them, some Illini fans were upset. It doesn't matter to me so much. But to give an idea for the rest of the Big Ten, at least in the AP top 25, obviously there's the coaches top 25 as well, but I'm just going to reference the AP one. Ohio State and Penn State are the top 2 teams in the country. That's right. The top 2 teams in the country both reside in the Big Ten. In fact, 3 of the top 6, with Oregon coming in at number 6. Then we have Illinois at number 11, Michigan at 15, Indiana at 23, and USC and Nebraska were receiving votes for top 25. Again, a decent showing for the Big Ten Conference, but obviously still a lot more work to do. I think this matchup, which obviously I'm going to go more in depth with probably on tomorrow's episode against Duke, is going to tell you a lot about where this Illinois team needs to be ranked. Because right now I feel like a lot of people, including myself, consider Saturday a prove-it game. Duke, sure. I know a lot of people in the comments from yesterday's video were like, hey, did you watch this Duke-Elon game? Duke looked very, very average to below average for 3 quarters against a not exactly very ideal competition. I understand what you're saying, but that 3rd and 4th quarter, all of a sudden, Duke did happen to turn it on. And I say this all the time. There's no more important position in college football than the quarterback. And if Mensa was able to do what he did against Elon, I do worry especially if Jaheim Clark is not healthy. If Clark is not healthy, then Caleb Patterson's going to once again be targeted. And hopefully that it was just a single bad game by Patterson. Okay, it's not like he's a bad football player, but he was a bad football player last Friday night. I think that's fair to say. I think he would even kind of admit that. But the thing is, Illinois clearly has most of the advantages all around. I'm not going to rehash the game preview. I'm going to be probably doing this again with JR later on this week. But you beat Duke on the road, and Illinois is going to immediately jump into the top 10 in the country. I firmly believe that. And then from that point on, again, you have Western Michigan, who you should be favored against, a team that you should absolutely beat. And then you have that big showdown against Indiana, who currently, as I mentioned, is ranked 23. They quite honestly didn't look all that impressive. They're used to covering spreads last year, but I believe they only won by something like 11 points when FanDuel had their spread at 24 and a half. Now, whether spreads matter to you or not, that's up to your own discretion. But again, that week 4 showdown is what we're all kind of hoping for. But that week 4 showdown is only going to matter if Illinois can take care of Duke on Saturday. I did want to take a second to read this insane stat by one of the social media goats when it comes to Illini content. That's Jonathan Kuhn, who you can find at Jonathan Kuhn 1. He says that this is now the 19th week Illinois has been ranked under Bret Bielema. And being that the program has only been ranked for a relatively low 200 weeks all time, Brett Bielema now accounts for 9.5% of Illinois' entire history in the AP poll. Man, and we're talking about a guy who is just in his 5th season in Champaign. This is almost a Brett Bielema fanboy show on Locked On Illini, but it's simply one of those where, again, I try to reiterate to new fans of the Illini, whether you're a freshman or you're a senior who's just got accepted to Illinois and you're starting to pay attention to these athletics. It's not going to always be like this. Hopefully, I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Brett Bielema is setting what the standard is going to look like moving forward. But as of the last 25, 35, 45 years, the consistency that Brett Bielema is bringing in and the success that he's had as a head coach, well, it's almost unprecedented. Look, I talk about it myself, right? Even this week against Duke, I had a final prediction of 27-17 on yesterday's show. Now, granted, I didn't know he was going to actually ask me for a game prediction this early in the week, so I was caught kind of off guard. But I'll stick with it, 27-17. But I'll be honest, I'm not 27-17 confident. I genuinely think that there's a very good chance that this could be a field goal type of game, especially the fact that this game is in Durham. And as JR brought up last week, Manny Diaz, the last time he coached against Luke Altmaier, well, he forced Luke Altmaier into 4 interceptions. Now, granted, that was 2 years ago, a completely different Illini team, and certainly a completely different Luke Altmaier. But my point is, my being a fan of this Illini football program for so long, sometimes the pessimism in me starts to seep in. And anytime there is a tough challenge that is coming up, like a team like Duke. Now, I know some of you in the comments are saying, hey, Illinois should wax Duke. And I hope you're right. And I'll jump on the post game on the show immediately afterwards and tell you that you guys are right and how silly I was for being wrong. But it's seeing stats like this. And that kind of reinforces the idea to me that, hey, things are different now. That things are different with Brett Bielema in charge. This guy really understands what it takes to win at Illinois. He understands what it takes to win in the Big Ten Conference. And this is a guy who's not looking to jump ship. Brett Bielema, I'm very confident in saying, sorry, Iowa fans, is not looking to take any other job when it comes to the world of college football anymore. Look, if the NFL comes calling, the NFL comes calling. We can deal with that if that opportunity were to present itself. But I think Brett understands that after his last experience in the SEC, coaching Arkansas, that he's not invincible. Maybe at a younger point in his career, he did think he was, but now he understands and he appreciates what he has in Champaign. And when you read stats like Jonathan just pulled up, we need to understand that, hey, we need to really appreciate what we have in charge of Illinois. The NFL season is almost here, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I love using FanDuel because it fits however I like to bet. Sometimes I want to bet an over. Sometimes I want to bet a team total. Sometimes I want to bet on a player prop. Whatever I want to do, FanDuel will take care of it for me. It makes every game more exciting, whether you're watching your team or just keeping an eye on your fantasy lineup. So if you're ready to play, download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet. Most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's 401ks, properties, or investments. And when you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. That's why there is Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or your phone. Monarch is built for people with busy lives. If you've put off organizing your finances, Monarch is for you. Monarch does the heavy lifting for you. You can link on all your accounts in 1 minute and see clear data vision. Get smart ideas of your spending and finally feel in control of your money. without ever touching a spreadsheet. For example, you can identify that you may not be saving as much into your 401k as you need to, especially if retirement is right around the corner. Do not let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONCollege. And welcome back. Once again, we have an important request at Locked On. We'd love to hear from you. We've put together a survey to learn more about our listeners and make your favorite podcast even better. This is your chance to tell us what you like and what you don't, and answer questions about our advertising. Go to lockedonpodcast.com/survey to get started. Everyone who completes a survey will be entered for a chance to win one of 10 $100 Amazon gift cards. Again, that's lockedonpodcast.com/survey. You can also find the link in the show notes. Thank you so much for helping us out. Also, as I like to say, we celebrate all Illini athletics on Locked On Illini. And I did want to mention that for the first time since 2004, the Illini women's soccer team has started 5-0-0. So special shout out to new head coach Katie Halton, who is now the second head coach in program history to win her first 5 games, followed by Trisha Talafiero in 1999. Katie, fantastic job. Again, we want success. We want this university to have success all around, not just football, not just men's basketball, but we see what the women's program is doing under Shauna Green. Katie took over a women's soccer program, and right now there's a lot of energy there as well. If you take a look at the stands, I mean, if you've been to one of the games, let me know in the comment section. They look absolutely electrifying. I hope I'll be able to go down there myself at some point, and my hope is to be able to have maybe Coach Halton or someone, one of the players on the team, on this show at some point in the near future. So I did want to give respect and props where props are due. Coach Halton, you're doing a fantastic job with the women's soccer team. I did want to mention the Illini are getting a lot of visitors and a lot of interest from some of the top basketball players in the country. A lot of it was announced on Monday and Tuesday, so I just haven't been able to watch the tape yet. Probably as soon as I'm done here recording, I'm going to be watching some of the tape on some of these players who will have Illinois in their top 11. I believe another one had them in their top 6. Again, a lot of you are worried about this recruiting class. Don't be. And even if we don't end up with the top 20 recruiting class, just don't worry. At this point, just understand that we'll see what the rosters looks like on day one, on the first game at tip-off. I trust Brad Underwood at this point, at least with roster construction, right? There's certainly liabilities that comes with Brad, but I did want to mention that I am going to be bringing up, some of these new recruitment stories. I know that's what you guys love. I know first and foremost, Locked On Illini, the most views come when people are listening to recruiting stories and basketball. So I didn't want you guys thinking I exactly forgot about that. I did also want to say, before I let you go, a heartfelt thank you. I got so many messages, so many DMs, so many emails congratulating me on that new opportunity that I talked about. There's going to be another show on top of Locked On. Nothing changes here at Locked On, but there will be another show called Talk Illini. Feel free to find that on YouTube and subscribe to that as well, where I'm just going to do maybe an hour-long weekly session. That's going to be with On3. There was an opportunity that was presented to me about a week ago, and I thought about it over the weekend and decided to jump on it. And again, thank you so much for those of you who congratulated me. And I try to say this very earnestly. I could not be here without you guys. It's not easy creating content each and every day, but the fact that I continue to get more and more views on YouTube and certainly more audio downloads every single week, it just makes you guys are so motivational. So I just wanted to appreciate that. It's another big moment on Locked On. College football fans, Locked On and Fire TV present College Football Kickoff, your ultimate college football weekly preview. Drake Toll of Locked On Big 12 leads the conversation alongside two-time AP Coach of the Year, Gary Patterson, former college star Jesse Holley, and Locked On's local experts. A college football preview only Locked On can do. Catch College Football Kickoff every Thursday throughout the season only on Fire TV. That's going to just about wrap it up for today's episode. Until next time, ILL. Love you guys.